did Tucker Carlson just secure a major bag from Twitter? By now, you all know that he was fired from Fox News, or he was let go from Fox News, simply because of, the text messages, some really, really offensive text messages. Fox News was ordered to pay $700 million, just upwards of $700 million, to Dominion, the company that, during the elections is one of the companies that do like the polling unit stuff. Anyway, and because of that whole situation in the court's documents, I guess they uncovered some of Tucker's private text messages, right? So they fired him. And now he might have gotten a bag from Twitter. And this is quite interesting because here's the thing. When his contract at Fox News is about $20 million a year, right? $20 million a year. And his contract terminates. It's supposed to have terminated in 2025, right? So he still has time left in his contract. But it looks as though he's breaching his contract right now because right now, technically, he's not fired. Technically, he's not fired, right? Last I heard, but he's not allowed to go and start working anywhere right now based on his contract. But I understand that Tucker knows that this is a very important moment. He's getting a lot of attention and he really wants to capitalize off of this and get the most money possible. And so he's willing to forego about, $40 million plus, just so he can post on Twitter. Why would he do that if he wasn't getting a fat check? Let's not forget the last interview that he did was with Elon Musk. So he knows him directly. And Elon Musk knows that right now, Tucker Carlson is gets the most eyeballs in the news or in news. Elon Musk knows that he's losing a lot of money in Twitter right now. He's losing a lot of money. The company he bought for $44 billion now is worth half of that. That's what he said on Tucker Carlson's show on Fox. So, and we've seen all the desperate attempts that he's making to make as much money as possible. What was it? With Twitter Blue and charging everybody for that subscription to bring in some money. But now he's going to be able to bring in eyeballs from the most consumed, most attention. I don't know, the person that everybody's watching right now. Not everybody, but people that watch Fox News. Because at the end of the day, in America, Fox News is the biggest news network. In America, obviously, their ratings are way higher, more apparently double that of CNN and other platforms. But that's in America, okay? Because CNN is an international company. They have eyeballs all over the world. So when it comes to the grand scheme of things, no, Fox News is just big in America. It's not. CNN is a bigger platform by far. But anyway, I want to address this, but I saw some interesting coverage by a few people that talks about the dynamics of this. So let's just hear what the Young Turks had to say about it.
Twitter's been malfunctioning quite a bit. No. Like, what's going on?
No, I totally get it. The minute I saw it, I was like, of course, I should have thought of that earlier. Why? What did I tell you guys? Newsmax and Rumble and all those guys, I don't think they could really afford them. They might be able to give him 20 million or 40 million for a short-term contract, but they just don't have that kind of money and they don't have that kind of audience, and it's not sustainable. The platforms, on the other hand, especially if they change their algorithms, all Elon Musk has to do is press a button and goes, everybody gets Tucker Carlson's show served to them. He will have millions upon millions of, anybody that does a show like that would get millions of viewers, okay? It just needs Elon to press a freaking button. And who's the one guy rich enough to be able to offer Tucker Carlson more than $20 million a year, which is what he's foregoing from Fox by breaking the contract? Well, of course, Elon Musk. Elon Musk already burned $44 billion on Twitter. He'd be almost irrational not to do this.
Okay, but I'm trying to understand what that would look like. What would a show?
Super easy. They already had one, so I could tell you about it.
Okay, go ahead.
So what they do is you know how if you're on, whether mainly on a desktop, laptop, etc. But it is featured in different ways on your apps on the phone. But they put it next to trending. There's a video. There used to be a morning show on Twitter in a previous administration, and you see the video going on the side. And plus, they could serve that video to all of the users, right? Or a huge percentage of the users. When you send out a tweet, it only goes to a certain percentage. So let's take me as an example. I've roughly 500,000 followers, right? But when I send a tweet, it doesn't go to all of them.
Yeah, it only goes to people who hate follow Jake for some reason.
Yeah,
that's what it seems like.
But every platform has an algorithm where they say, hey, it goes to 12% of your audience, 10%, 8%. Now Facebook, it only goes to a small percentage, and you could purchase the ability to send it to more of your own audience, your own followers, okay? So, but all they have to do is change the algorithm and say, for this particular video, send it to everyone.
So Elon Musk knows exactly he knows the impact of attention. He knows that Twitter needs this. Twitter, is a big platform, right? But this is gonna give Twitter that je ne sais quoi. And another reason why he decided, which is, to me, it's obvious that he went to Twitter, is because Twitter is the only platform that's mainstream and doesn't silence you. You know, unlike YouTube, Facebook, all these platforms, they silence you when you have conspiracies, when you have fake news. We know Tucker Carlson, you know, he's on the radical right? He's on the radical side of things. And so Twitter is the best platform with Elon Musk's administration that won't silence him. And so he has the freedom to speak and say whatever he wants. Now, let's understand something here, right? Pat from Valuetainment, who has about 4 million followers on YouTube, offered Tucker $100 million, $20 million a year for 5 years. That was around, something like that, right? Yeah, that's exactly what it was. For 5 years, $20 million a year. So you mean to tell me that I think that's exactly what Fox was paying him? So that means that Elon Musk would have had to offer him more than that. Or Elon Musk might have matched that. But the difference is, and this is very, very important, the key component is that Elon owns the platform. Twitter is the platform. Valuetainment is renting the platform of YouTube. And so if Tucker decides to go crazy, right-wing, neo-Nazi with all the conspiracies he pushes, and he doesn't have a big platform like Fox to sort of encourage YouTube to keep it on the platform, and he's claiming, in this message that he left, he's claiming that, I'll play his message, but he's claiming that he's gonna really talk about things that even Fox News restricts him from talking about. Pat was not gonna be able to afford, first of all, Pat does not even gonna be able to control whether YouTube deplatforms him. He has no power there. He's too small of an entity, right? Sure, he's made a lot of money, $100 million. He's probably worth maybe 500 million or something. That is too small in the grand scheme of things compared to Elon, who's worth billions of dollars. When it comes down to it, partnering with Elon means that you have the backing of Elon. So if people decide they're going to sue Twitter because of the conspiracies that Tucker is spewing out on their platform, Twitter can take those lawsuits and squash those lawsuits easy. Pat can't do that as easily. Especially, so it's like too much is given, much is required. But as much as Pat might have the $100 million, he's gonna struggle with everything else. If lawsuits start, like Facebook has about, they say 300 active lawsuits at a time. These big platforms, Pat is not gonna be able to deal with the kind of attention that Tucker draws in, the kind of visibility that Tucker has. Pat is not going to be able to deal with the repercussions when the lawsuits start coming in. But Elon Musk will, because he has the institution, not just of Twitter, but all his platforms. He has the $1 billion backing, and he understands the importance of attention and how Tucker can bring that to Twitter. And so that is the unique positioning at which Tucker is saying, look, I'm going to go on Twitter. And to me, it's genius. Didn't see it coming. He's been silent. We have people offering, and it made him look good, right? with Pat offering him $100 million, that's probably like, Elon is probably like, whoa, okay, so I have to give you like a good offer. But Elon knows that he probably doesn't have to go over 100. He could have even gone less, because of the institution and the backing of Twitter is so big that it will cover all this other stuff. So let me see if I could just play a little bit of the clip.
Amazing.
Right, and to take the mantle of fierce truth teller who wants to speak his mind. Now let's get to the part of the video where he makes the big announcement about his partnership with Twitter.
Amazingly, as of tonight, there aren't many platforms left that allow free speech. The last big one remaining in the world, the only one, is Twitter, where we are now. Twitter has long served as the place where our national conversation incubates and develops. Twitter is not a partisan site. Everybody's allowed here, and we think that's a good thing. And yet, for the most part, the news that you see analyzed on Twitter comes from media organizations that are themselves thinly disguised propaganda outlets. You see it on cable news, you talk about it on Twitter. The result may feel like a debate, but actually the gatekeepers are still in charge. We think that's a bad system. We know exactly how it works, and we're sick of it. Starting soon, we'll be bringing a new version of the show we've been doing for the last 6.5 years to Twitter. We'll be bringing some other things too, which we'll tell you about. But for now, we're just grateful to be here. Free speech is the main right that you have. Without it, you have no others. See you soon. Always limits. And you know that if you bump up against those limits often enough, you will be fired for it. That's not a guess, it's guaranteed. Every person who works in English language media understands that. The rule of what you can't say defines everything. It's filthy, really, and it's utterly corrupting.
So I have a lot to say.
So it's interesting. It's interesting his takes on it, but let's see. Okay, I saw this. The Hill. They had some things to say. Let me see.
Alleging breach of contract for a variety of reasons. He says that. So his claim is that he's out as a result of the Dominion lawsuit. Fox, by the way, says that's not true, and Dominion, by the way, says that's not true. They've released a statement saying that was not part of their settlement. He also believes Fox made him look bad. He called out Murdoch specifically, violated the contract by making him look bad, which was part of their agreement that they would not, in the course of the lawsuit, do things, settle in a way that would be damaging to his own reputation. They clearly did that. That's what he's saying. So he's saying they broke the contract first. Yeah, so he now can post on Twitter. He can do what he wants because they have terminated the contract.
Yeah, and specifically, he's saying that because he was fired as a consequence of the Dominion settlement, that reflects wrongdoing on his part. That if he were fired for other reasons, then he can be fired for other reasons. But because he says that Fox fired him specifically as a consequence of the Dominion lawsuit, that the implication is that he did something wrong. And so the sum total, the consequences of this, if he were to be successful, is that he could continue to get the money that is remaining on his contract, which isn't up until January of 2025, at the same time that he continues to do news, do reporting, do journalism, or what have you, on other outlets, which he'd be precluded from doing in the alternative.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit unclear at this moment. I saw some reporting suggesting that he was essentially going to walk and not try to receive the money, but you're right that he wants to have this legal dispute with Fox about the state of the contract would suggest he's trying to still collect what could be, I think, about somewhere between $20 and $30 million based on what he's paid per year. So, which obviously he doesn't need the money, but that's a lot of money. Like, no one says, I don't need $30 million. If you can get it, you can get it.
So that's the thing about this, right? With Twitter has the backing to pay him substantially that it doesn't matter if Fox, like, he could either like continue to still get his checks from Fox, but I feel like because he's done this Twitter move, Fox is going to stop paying him. But because he's getting paid so much money, I just feel like he sees it as a transfer. And Fox and Twitter is likely going to pay as much, if not more. But more importantly, he has a lot of eyeballs on him right now. And what I think he was trying to avoid with Fox is if Fox, they would just hold him on and silence him for maybe a year while they go through these things, because they're still going through Chris Cuomo's case. So, So he's learned about that, and so he's kind of like, look, I have a lot of eyeballs on me now, and I need to capitalize it on me now, because he could even get 3 times the viewership, maybe 2-3 times the viewership that he was getting before he was fired, because everybody's looking at him now. And also he's in a unique position because he's now the only one on Twitter offering this having this offering. And so because of this, there's even going to be more eyeballs on him right now. So this is genius marketing, and it's a genius way to capitalize and really understand. And what it tells me about him is that not only is he, you can think about whatever you want to think about him, but sure, he does what he does on camera. He can obviously articulate himself well, but he's also really good at the business. He's like the best at the business and understands how to navigate that. And that's one thing I want to tell anyone. If you're a YouTuber, if you're a creative, it's so important that you understand the business and how to make strategic, intelligent business moves that keep you hot and keep you dominant. And that's the reason why I want to talk about him today, because what he's doing right now, he could be getting something like Joe Rogan. The 200 million deal that Joe Rogan got on Spotify. He could easily have gotten something like that from Twitter. I don't know. If I were him, I would probably ask for the 200 million because, I mean, I don't know. Is he bigger than Joe Rogan? He probably is, right? Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this deal. Let me know your thoughts on Tucker. I know, hey, he's a controversial figure and he said some really disturbing things. I don't condone him as a person, even though I was entertained by his show when they're uncovering some of the things that he's done and he said over the years. But on this channel, we talk about the business of entertainment. Whether you're a good figure or a bad figure, we can talk about you. I'm just talking about the business behind the scenes of what he's done, which is impressive. You cannot deny that. Anyone getting paid $20 million a year, we need to understand what you're doing, and how you're doing it right. And he made a very smart strategic move with this move from Fox to Twitter. Genius. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all the above. You're watching Brand Video Pro. I'm your host, Kenim, and I'll see you next time. Peace.